There is a silent force within you, a space where true peace resides and where no external interference can reach. It is a state of being that goes beyond appearances, opinions, and circumstances. Jacobo Grinberg teaches us that the secret to achieving this untouchability lies in understanding that reality, as we perceive it, is shaped by our mind. When you reconnect with this inner center, you discover that nothing can divert your essence. Today, you will be guided to access this state of fullness, where freedom and power become unshakable. Jacobo Grinberg, one of the great explorers of consciousness and spirituality, dedicated his life to investigating the relationship between the mind and reality. His studies reveal that our perception of the world is not fixed, but a construction shaped by the interaction between consciousness and energy. He argues that by understanding this dynamic, we can transform the way we experience life. Grinberg invites us to look beyond the illusion of external control and to realize that true strength lies within us. Often we believe that events around us determine our emotional or mental state. However, according to his teachings, it is quite the opposite. We project reality based on our internal vibration. This means that by accessing the core of our consciousness, we can create a protection field so powerful that nothing and no one can affect us. By combining psychology, neuroscience, and spiritual traditions, Jacobo Grinberg formulated a revolutionary vision of the nature of reality. He proposed that what we call reality is largely a projection generated by our brain, in constant interaction with a universal field of energy and information that he called the quantum field. This field is described as a vibrational matrix that connects all things and beings in the universe. Scientifically, this theory aligns with discoveries in quantum physics, which demonstrate that matter, in essence, is energy in motion. Subatomic particles, like electrons, exist in states of probability until they are observed, a phenomenon known as wave function collapse. Grinberg connected this to the human mind, suggesting that consciousness is the tool that shapes this energy. When we observe the world, we are not just perceiving it, but molding it based on our intentions, emotions, and beliefs. According to Grinberg, the brain acts as a translator of the quantum matrix, organizing information from the field into patterns we recognize as our everyday reality. However, these patterns are limited by the mental programs we acquire throughout life, such as social, cultural, and personal beliefs. He called this limitation consensual reality, an unconscious agreement we share about how the world should be perceived. On the other hand, he argued that by freeing ourselves from these limitations, we can access an expanded dimension of perception. Neuroscience studies support this idea by showing that meditative states or mindfulness practices can alter brain activity, deactivating areas linked to the ego, like the prefrontal cortex, and activating regions associated with integration and global connection, such as the parietal cortex and the limbic system. This suggests that when we silence the internal dialogue, we can access deeper levels of perception and consciousness. Practically, this means that what affects us in the external world is merely a reflection of how we interpret information from the quantum field. For example, a criticism may seem destructive if your mental pattern is tuned to insecurity, but if your consciousness is anchored in self-confidence, the same criticism will have no power over you. The secret, according to Grinberg, is to create coherence in your energy field through practices like meditation, visualization, and cultivating positive emotions. This process not only transforms your perception, but also the very energy matrix around you. When you operate in high vibrational coherence, external interactions align with this state. This is observed in resonance experiments, such as those conducted by scientists studying the impact of synchronized brain waves in groups, where a state of collective harmony positively influences the environment. Grinberg believed that by accessing this state, you become immune to external influences because your vibration creates a natural protective field. Nothing can affect your essence because you are directly connected to the universal source, which is unshakable and infinite. This perspective is not only spiritual, but also a scientific revolution, suggesting that reality is not fixed, but a dynamic mirror of our mind and energy. Although Jacobo Grinberg's theory reveals a powerful path to transform our perception and create a reality aligned with our inner self, putting it into practice faces significant challenges. The biggest one is the strength of deeply ingrained mental patterns, which Grinberg calls consensual reality. These patterns are reinforced from birth through social, cultural, and family influences, creating a difficult-to-break conditioning cycle. The human brain naturally seeks energy conservation, meaning it tends to operate on autopilot through established associations. This is reflected in repetitive thoughts, automatic emotional reactions, and the tendency to blame external factors for our internal state. When you try to challenge these patterns, the brain initially resists, generating doubts, fears, or the feeling that change is impossible. Another common obstacle is the constant distraction of the modern world. We live in an environment saturated with stimuli, social media, news, work, that compete for our attention and keep us away from the silence needed to access the internal quantum field. This information overload keeps us trapped in a state of mental superficiality, making introspection and self-knowledge difficult. Additionally, the process of dismantling limiting beliefs can bring up repressed emotions such as insecurity, anger, or sadness. These emotions, although necessary for healing, can be uncomfortable and discourage progress. Many people face a paradox. They know they need to confront these internal shadows to grow, but fear the vulnerability it requires. Finally, there is the obstacle of doubt. How do you know if this transformation truly works? Without immediate results, it's easy to give up or return to old patterns. Grinberg acknowledged this challenge, emphasizing that reconfiguring perception requires constant practice and patience. He suggested that people remember that every small advancement is a victory because the mere act of challenging consensual reality is already a sign that you are changing your vibration. These challenges are real but not insurmountable. By recognizing them, you take the first step to overcome them, creating a solid foundation to access the state of untouchability described by Grinberg. Untouchability resides in disciplined and conscious practice. He proposed a combination of techniques that integrate mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects, creating a structured path to transform the perception of reality. The first fundamental practice is mindful observation meditation. Grinberg describes this technique as a way to silence internal noise and perceive the vibrational matrix that connects all things. The practice involves sitting in a quiet place, closing your eyes, and observing your thoughts without judgment. Over time, this deactivates the brain's automatic patterns and creates space for new perceptions to emerge. Neuroscience studies corroborate this practice, showing that regular meditation alters brain structure, strengthening areas responsible for self-regulation and reducing emotional reactivity. Another proposed technique is active visualization. Grinberg suggested that by imagining scenarios of balance and harmony, you are programming your mind to project these states into reality. For example, before sleeping, visualize a sphere of light around your body, protecting you from any negative energy. Feel this light vibrate in coherence with your highest thoughts. Science also supports this approach, showing that mental visualization activates areas of the brain associated with physical achievement, such as the motor cortex, directly influencing how we react to the environment. Grinberg also emphasized the importance of working with emotions. He believed that unprocessed emotions create distortions in the personal quantum matrix, negatively influencing the perception of reality. To address this, He recommended practices like emotional emptying, which involves expressing repressed emotions through writing or internal dialogue until they are understood and released. This practice dissolves energy blockages, allowing the flow of energy to be restored. A simple yet powerful exercise is conscious intention. Before starting any activity, pause for a few seconds and set your intention for that moment. For example, when entering a meeting, your intention might be to maintain balance and clarity. This aligns your vibration with the desired outcome and reduces the influence of disharmonic external energies. In addition to individual practices, Grinberg highlighted the importance of cultivating relationships based on resonance. He argued that other people's energy can amplify or disturb our vibrational field. Choosing whom we interact with and establishing clear boundaries is essential to preserve our energy. Finally, Grinberg suggested that by practicing daily gratitude, you access a higher vibration that strengthens your energy field. Gratitude, according to him, is one of the most potent forces for realigning the mind with the universal matrix, dissolving patterns of scarcity or fear. When these practices are integrated into daily life, they create a state of presence and coherence so profound that external reality no longer has the power to destabilize you. From this point, you not only shape your perception, but also positively influence the environment around you. Within you lies a sacred, untouchable, and infinite space where your true essence resides. Jacobo Grinberg taught us that this space is not just an abstract idea, but a concrete reality that can be accessed when we align our consciousness with the universal matrix. Every thought, every emotion, every intention has the power to shape the world around you. And by reconnecting with this state of presence and untouchability, you realize that no external circumstance has power over who you truly are. Life ceases to be a sequence of reactions and becomes a creative field where you are the architect. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities to grow and strengthen your connection with what is essential. When you understand that the secret to freedom lies within you, you discover that nothing can affect you, not because the world has changed, but because you have changed the way you perceive it. Transformation begins with small steps. Every moment you choose to observe instead of react, every time you practice gratitude or set a conscious intention, you are recreating your reality. This journey is an act of courage, a return to the power that has always been there, waiting to be claimed. Remember, the secret is not outside, but in your ability to access the immense potential within you. From this place, you become an unshakable force, radiating balance and harmony to the world. Keep in mind that every small gesture of awareness generates a profound impact on how you live and perceive the world. Share your experiences and insights with those around you. You might be the inspiration someone else needs to begin their own transformation. And above all, never forget, the power for nothing and no one to affect you is already yours. It has always been there, just waiting for you to access it. When you align with the universal field, you realize that you are the source, not the reflection. May this message resonate in your life and strengthen your path.